Okay, I'm here to tell you my story, which by this time has become the story of probably 2 or 3 million other people also. I don't know whether that qualifies us as a tribe or a movement, but something anyway. It's also a story about dogs and elephants. It's a story about sustainable lifestyle. I just love this comment from a Ukrainian schoolboy. Yeah? The world is coming to an end and you tell us to change our light bulbs. Well, yes, you might ask whether there is such a thing as a sustainable lifestyle. Is the world coming to an end? Does it help to change our light bulbs? It's beginning to sound like a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Well, the good news, we already heard earlier today, the good news is the planet doesn't actually need saving. That's good. However, we maybe do. The planet may not tolerate us for all that much longer if we don't mend our ways. So, does it really help to change our light bulbs? Well, think about it. I'm sure everybody here already does a lot to have a clean climate conscience. That's difficult to say. Probably, like me, there are still some more improvements you could make. Just think about it, what it would be like on this planet if we all did the best we could every day without asking, does it really make a difference? Just imagine if every politician, every hairdresser, every photographer, everybody, professionally as well as personally, if we did the best we possibly could, we'd already have a different planet, wouldn't we? Yeah? However, there's a yes but. Here's the yes but. The world is full of yes buts. Yeah? Yeah? You can't teach new tricks to old dogs. True? Ow, ow. Just think about it. How has your lifestyle changed in the last 2 or 3 years or 5 years or something? Have you actually changed any of your habits? Have you learnt any new tricks? I bet you have. I bet some of you, for example, have mobile phones. Ooh, that's new. I was reading a detective story, and there was, it's an old one, and there was a point where the detective absolutely needed to call somebody, but there was no telephone, and he couldn't do it. And I was thinking, well, where's your mobile phone, you idiot? Of course, it didn't exist, right? So, actually, wrong. We can teach old dogs new tricks. We old dogs can learn new tricks. The question is, what does it take for us to learn sustainable new tricks? Because so many of the new tricks we learn from advertising, we learn from propaganda of one kind or another, conscious or unconscious. We learn from peer pressure. We learn from fashion. Yeah? We respond to fashion. Nothing wrong with that. But how about if we were to become a little bit more conscious about what we're responding to and when we do it? But when it comes to the future of humankind, and not just the latest fashion, there are a few more yes buts around. How about this one? It's up to the politicians to take care of it, or the market. Now, we've heard some persuasive arguments about the things that politicians and the market can do, with a little help from their friends. We need to keep at them. You know, if the politicians do things that we don't want, we'll vote them out of power. That's not very sustainable, at least not for them. Yeah? If business does things that we don't want, they'll go bankrupt, which again is not really very sustainable for them. We need to put the pressure on and to keep it up. Yeah? There are some more yes buts as well. How about these? These were really popular in the 70s and 80s when I started getting really involved in this kind of thing. It's all their fault for having too many babies, and it's all their fault for using too many resources. Does anybody remember that? It's still there somewhere. Well, a group of friends, I'll get back to us later, we borrowed the computer models of the Club of Rome that had just published the Limits to Growth, and we put in some more assumptions just to see what was the truth of these statements. And one really interesting conclusion was population growth in itself, stopping population growth in itself, doesn't solve anything. Even if we had been able to freeze world population at the level of the late 1980s, there was still no future for human civilization unless we changed our habits. Without changing consumer behavior, that's it, folks. Sorry. Still want to blame somebody? Let me tell you, this is the good news. This is the really good news. Why? Well, think about it. I can't do much about how many babies people have in Africa, but I can do something about how many resources I use. We can all do that. So this is really good news. It's about changing our daily habits, and what is more important, it's about doing things that we actually already want to do. Sustainable lifestyle is not about sacrifice or hair shirts. It's about what we truly want. How do I know that? Well, survey after survey in country after country shows the same results. When people are asked, what's important to you? They say, the latest car. No. They say, more time. Time with my family, time with my friends, time for my passion. Huh? Okay, if you don't have enough money for food or for education, maybe money is really high up on your list. But for most of us, time is much more valuable these days. And adopting a lifestyle where you put having time to yourself ahead of having more things is going to be more sustainable. So it's what we want already, and the good news is we can have it because we get there by becoming more conscious about our daily habits. It's all it takes. I said it was good news. When we started on this journey that Hannah already mentioned, we were a handful of people who thought, well, let's find out whether we can become more conscious about our own lifestyles and find ways of living more sustainably that don't feel like hair shirts, like sacrifice, like giving up, that feel good, because feeling good is also a part of being sustainable, right? And we said, let's find out how to do it ourselves, and if we can do it, let's find out how we can support other people who would like to do the same thing. And up to now, we've engaged, we have invited in and attracted between 2 and 3 million people in a bit more than 20 countries. Now, that's taken 20 years, and I'm a bit impatient. I thought it was going to be 20 million by now, not 2 million. So I said that for my 72nd birthday next year, I want 21 million people. And with your help, maybe we'll get there. Who knows? Yeah? You're welcome to ask me about my own lifestyle. We could talk about our carbon neutral home in Stockholm, for instance. Now, finally, what you've been waiting for. Here comes the elephant. Yeah. We've developed all these models, we've developed all these methods, we teach them, we do all kinds of things with them. And then just a few months ago, a new book came out called Switch by 2 brothers called Heath. And they've actually reduced or summarized some of the principles that we've discovered in just 3 paragraphs. They say that if you want to bring about change, even when change seems difficult, you have 3 things to work with. You have the elephant, the rider, and the path. Now the rider is the intellect. The rider represents all this stuff going on up here. Huh? The elephant is the rest. It's all my feelings, my values, my beliefs, all that stuff that is the rest of me. Huh? And the path, well, that's quite clear. So we can work with the path. Of course we can, of course we should. That's what politicians are here for, among other things, is to smooth the path. Sometimes it seems they're making it more difficult instead of more easy. But that is a very important role. Same goes for industry, for business. Yes? They can make the path of sustainable lifestyle more easy or more difficult. But the real trick, whether the path is easy or not, is to get the elephants moving. Huh? Just talking to the rider doesn't do it. Sitting up there, move, move. Doesn't work. We need to engage the elephant. Yeah? Very simply, if you want to help me to live more sustainably, your elephant needs to talk to my elephant. Then we're talking. Yeah? You might notice on this picture that there is a place for the rider, but it's empty. I don't know whether you've ever felt like that. There's nothing up here. It's all down here. So it's probably not entirely coincidental. Mattis Wackenagel is famous for having introduced or popularized the ecological footprint, and he's a scientist. And he says that the most important obstacle to sustainable development today is a conversation deficit. Isn't that interesting? A conversation deficit. He says we need to create a hunger for a sustainable world. And when we do that, everything else falls into place. And we do that, I would say, by engaging the elephants. That's how we do it. So there's the mission. If you want a mission, you maybe didn't come here looking for a mission, but if you're looking for a mission, get talking to elephants. Get elephants talking to each other. And there's something I'd like to say that's very important about this. Remembering our school kid in Ukraine and the light bulbs. It's not trivial. It says in the Bible, for those of you who've read it, in the beginning was the Word. That's where we start, always. What I talk about today, just maybe I'll do tomorrow. And maybe what I talk about tomorrow, what I do tomorrow, will make the difference. Maybe it will make the difference between not having or having a livable world for our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. I have 11 grandchildren, ask me. Thank you very much.